Hey guys, this is Awesome CDI Person, and I figured I'd go ahead and do my review of the Nintendo 3DS now. And I would say overall it's pretty nice. It works well. I mean, the interface I think is a lot smoother than the DS or the DSi. But I was really hyped up for this when it was first announced and leading up to the launch because there were a lot of cool games that I wanted for it. And when it finally came out, the launch lineup was pretty disappointing. I mean, the only game that I got for it at launch was Pilot Wings Resort, which is a pretty fun flying game. I mean, there really isn't much to do in it. You know, you can play missions, and then you can do free flight mode. But that's really about it. I mean, I put a lot of hours into this game, mainly just because I had absolutely nothing else to play on the 3DS for, I think, about 2 months after it came out, because none of the games really looked that interesting to me. And, but yeah, I mean, it works pretty well. It shows off the 3DS's capabilities. And I guess it's a good first game, but still, it isn't the real heavy hitter that I think the 3DS needed at launch. But anyway, getting into the hardware, it's pretty sturdy. I've had a little problem though with the screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's scratches on the sides of the top screen that are caused by this little sort of raised edge here. Because when you close the system and then carry it around, it scratches the top screen, which is kind of annoying. The circle pad, I was pretty excited about this when it first was, revealed that they were going to have this. But I got to admit, I really don't like this circle pad very much now that I've actually played it for a while, because it seems very slippery, and like when you're getting intense and into the game, it seems like your hand can kind of slip off or get into sort of an awkward position. So I really would have preferred if they had made it more just made it easier to grip, because it feels kind of slippery. And also, I've run into some detection problems with it. Like, sometimes it doesn't do what I want it to do. But anyway, then the D-pad actually feels kind of cheap for some reason. I'm not sure. It feels a little loose or something. But anyway, then, you got the standard button layout that the DS had. The shoulder buttons actually feel a lot better. They don't feel nearly as cheap as they did on the DS. And then you got Start and Select, which really don't feel right for some reason. And then the Home button, which I guess, I mean, these buttons just don't feel quite right to me, but, they work. The 3D obviously works pretty well. It's not quite as cool as I expected it to be, honestly, and somehow I started this by accident. Sorry. But yeah, the depth slider works okay, although feels a little cheap. The cameras, there's two here, so you can take 3D pictures and 3D videos now, which is pretty cool. And then there's a 2D camera right there. Whoops, sorry. And there's also an SD card slot, which is nice. One thing that really annoyed me, though, was that they moved the touch pen back up here on the back of the system, which is where it was on the original DS. But then for the DS Lite, they moved it over here on the side, and I really liked that a lot better than back here. So I don't know why they did that. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it's nice. It's backwards compatible with DS games, of course. And also, there's a virtual console that has Game Boy games. And in the future, I hope it's going to have NES games and Game Boy Advance games, because right now only people who bought, only early adopters of the 3DS get those. So I hope the rest of the people get that in the future. But yeah, I was kind of, another thing that really disappointed me was there really wasn't much of the promised functionality that the 3DS was going to have at launch. Not